Good morning, guys. I'm the Tech Prepper. Like most videos, I wasn't planning on making this one, and I wanted to basically do a dry run of what my shelter system would look like for Ham Radio Field Day 2020, which is coming up at the end of this month. And it was a good thing that I went through the dry run. I was able to time how quickly it took me to set up my tarp shelter and also identify a whole bunch of gaps in what I was missing. And let me go through my list here. And you guys are going to quickly find that I am a man of lists. So I have a whole bunch of different kits. I've got running kits, I've got kits for the RV, I've got go bags, I have EDC bags. And while there's a lot of redundancy across all of those, depending what I'm doing, I'll sometimes cannibalize items from one and put them in the other. And that's why checklists are super important in like double checking your gear before you go out. And so I basically was missing two 10 stakes. So while I was able to stake the back end of this tarp shelter, I was missing the stakes for my guy wires or my guy lines. I could have improvised it in the field with a stick and whittled the end down to a point, but obviously that's not ideal and takes a little bit more time. So adding a couple of 10 stakes. Number two, I realized that while I had my 48 ounce clean canteen, my kit was missing the nesting cup that I used to make my cup of coffee this morning, which is going with me. Oh, that's good. And so I need to get another nesting cup. They're like $4 or $5. These are stainless steel. I will tell you, the only problem with these is that when you prepare your coffee or hot liquids to drink, you do have to wait about 5 minutes for them to cool down unless you want to burn your lips. For me, I don't mind it. I like having two stainless steel pieces of kit so that I could cook directly in them. And I prefer not to bring another cup that's non-conductive to drink out of. I'll just wait the 5 minutes. The cook system I have here is extremely old. This is an old butane propane stovetop that I've had probably since the mid-90s. And I thought that, actually I took this on a trip last year and I could not believe that the striker was still working, so I assumed it would still work the next time I used it, and it stopped working. So thankfully, my desert kit includes just a real simple Bic lighter. So that problem was solved pretty quickly. And my desert kit, I think I did a video on the Altoids tin for first aid. For the desert, this one is highly specialized for being out here. So it's a very small boo-boo kit. It has got Advil, a lighter, and also tweezers, because one of the big things out here is getting pricked by cacti, and I need the ability to remove it. So this kit came in super handy. I don't know if I missed anything else. I think everything else was pretty good. So with that said, let's talk about why I'm doing this. So Field Day 2020 is coming up at the end of June, and the goal is to get ham radio operators out and into the field to do contesting, but more than anything to get them outside to test their equipment. There's a whole bunch of different ways you can do it, from setting up in the backyard to going to a park to scaling a mountain, and that's what I'm going to do. So I wanted to make sure that since it's been roughly 105, 106 degrees at the hottest points right now, that I have a system to be comfortable. So I have my chair and also a tarp shelter. I figured it would be the way to go. I just purchased this, what is it? Arcticus Outdoor Gear 60-inch by 82-inch tarp. It has a reflective surface on the top, so I have that facing out so that it is absorbing the heat from the sun. At night, you would spin that around so your reflected body heat would just hit this and come back at you and keep you warm. It's a good size, so I'm not very tall. I'm only about 5'7", but As you can see, I'm sitting comfortably in my chair. I'm underneath the shelter. Since this is the desert, there aren't a whole lot of trees to easily guy out wires. So I'm actually using two of my trekking poles at their fully extended position, and then I have some 550 paracord guide out to two tent stakes. So yeah, so I've got the 60 by 82 inch tarp, two of the trekking poles that I will use to save my knees on the hike anyhow, some 550 cord, and then 4 tent stakes. In terms of the knots, I don't know how standard this is, but I have pretty much standardized on a couple knots. One is more used than the other, and that is for me the taut line hitch. And what I like about it is that it allows me to adjust the length of a piece of rope, and it will remain taut in that position. And for this system here, I've got a taut line hitch knot on each end, one that goes through the grommets, it's terminated right there, and then one down by the stake. So it's really easy for me to guide this thing out and make adjustments really quickly. In terms of the setup, I think it took me about 3.5–4 minutes today to set this up. After I realized I was missing the 2 tent stakes, I just ran and took some for my tent gear. But yeah, I think this system's gonna work out. Kind of hoping you guys enjoy this video. I'm planning on doing more outdoor videos. So for this field test I'm going to be doing this weekend, I'm still waiting for my Haley Strategic micro chest rig, so that in addition to the flat pack, which holds everything you see here. That's weird, what's that? Some kind of spider. Yeah, it fits everything in this pack nicely. The only thing that I have to figure out, and I don't think it's going to be a problem, is my actual chair. It packs down into, I've got the bag over there, a bag about this big. It only weighs like 8.5 ounces, this chair. But as you can see, there's pals or molly webbing here. I'm just going to take my traditional straps that I use for attaching my sleeping system. Okay, this guy's killing me. All right. On the bottom of my backpack, and just cinching the straps through the molly here, and just attaching the chair to it, and probably also the tripod because it fits into a bag that's about this big. So yeah, I do want to shout out, I do want to say thanks to all the viewers. We're trying to grow the channel, so thank you for every subscription, thank you for every view, thank you for every like, and thanks for every comment. Those are super helpful. So let me know if there's anything you want to see in the types of things I do: RV, Jeeps, hiking, backpacking, trail running, preparedness. Trying to avoid the firearm stuff because YouTube is a little picky about stuff like that. But I may take you out as soon as the fire restrictions are done, and we'll go shooting behind the house. So yeah, quick video before work, guys. Be strong, be safe, and be prepared.